This is your
He's
NPR
ready.
station, WBFO Buffalo, Niagara, WOLN Olean, WBJ Jamestown, a major public service from the University of Buffalo. And then I use John Coltrane, my favorite things. The first one he did live at Newport. I let it play for about a chorus and a half, and I come back and I say, good evening and welcome to Jazz Favorites. I am your producer host, Macy Favor. This is a program where we bring in musicians and other people from all walks of life that happen to be fans of an American true art form of music we call jazz. We ask them to play some of their favorite recordings and talk about jazz. And on occasion, we get into other areas of interest. Our guest this evening makes his third appearance on Jazz Favorites and his second in the month of January this year. That's because he's so versatile. And they sometimes call him the Mighty OB'a, and his name is Pat Freeman. Welcome to Jazz Favorites, OB'a.
How you doing, Macy? My pleasure to be back with you.
Yes, indeed.
And we're getting ready to head to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Miami, Florida. Going to cover the Super Bowl for the 10th. This is my 10th Super Bowl coverage for 1080 AM WFO. And it's a pleasure to be back with you.
Okay, it's my pleasure, believe me. And this makes the second time for the Super Bowl. And we just did a couple weeks ago a tribute to Martin Luther King Jr.
Right. Great
Dr.
pleasure.
King.
Yes, sir.
What a show.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
Definitely enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a pleasure to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
No doubt about it. Because the Super Bowl participation may not be like it is today if it wasn't for Dr. King.
If it was not for Dr. King, I don't think I'd be at the Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't think they would allow me in the door.
That's right. And not even allow the players in.
Absolutely. So we have to pay tribute to the sacrifice and the due diligence of Dr. King every opportunity we get. And certainly it's always a pleasure. We should always remember his work and sacrifice for all of us. Mm-hmm. You can see all of it in what we're doing each and every day.
No doubt about it. So when are you leaving for Miami?
I will be leaving this Thursday, early Thursday morning, and once you get there, you're just on the go the whole time. And, you do 14 to 16-hour days every day that you're there, and we'll be there 5 days. And Super Bowl it's interesting. You get some incredible information while you're there. A lot of discussion. We'll be doing live updates every hour on 1080 AM WFO, and then I'll do my show live on Radio Row at the Super Bowl on Saturday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And then we're going to go to the Snoop Bowl. Snoop Dogg does an annual Little League Championship every year, and this year Terrell Owens is one of the celebrity coaches for the Little League Championship. He's really done a great job with that, and it's become a hallmark part of the Super Bowl now is the Snoop Bowl Little League Championship. He brings in Little League teams that qualify from all over the country, and they play a Little League Championship at the Super Bowl every year. It's called the Snoop Bowl. Okay. And then they have a concert afterwards with some of the premier artists around the country. So it's really a great opportunity to, see some of the work that some of the successful people in the hip-hop industry do with our young people. And Snoop has really done a great job with that. You have to give him credit.
Okay. I saw a little preview of that on Tube about a week or so ago.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I didn't know it existed until then.
Really,
and
yeah.
Now you really clued me in on it.
Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
He does it every year. And this year, it's not too far from the Media Center, so right after I do my show, myself and the sports director from the Challenger, George Radney, will cover the Snoop Bowl, and then we got to rush right back for the Hall of Fame championship. Not the Hall of Fame champion, I'm sorry, the Hall of Fame announcement. And hopefully this year, if the Hall of Fame, the sports writers, the ones with a vote, do the right thing, Andre Reed should have been in the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. And it's going to be rough for him this year. I think eventually he's going to get in, but he should have been in. Andre Reed was one of the greatest wide receivers in the history of the NFL, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. It's no reason why he's not. I hope this year they do the right thing. It's going to be difficult because Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith are almost automatics. And Andre Reed is looking at will the writers put in two receivers at one time.
Yes.
And that might be a problem for Andre. And of course, you got Chris Carter and Tim Brown. These guys got over 1,000 receptions. But Andre Reed should have went in long before Michael Irvin, I believe. I think he was a much more significant receiver stat-wise in the NFL, even though Michael Irvin was a great receiver, no doubt about it. But he does not have the stats of Andre Reed. And hopefully this year, Andre Reed, they do the right thing and put Andre Reed in. I think eventually they will put Andre Reed in, but he should have been in already.
I hear you. I hear you. I listen to you, and you know what you're talking about. So I can't take exception to it at all. And I saw Andre play. I used to be a season ticket holder with the Bills, probably through 1998, and then I gave him up.
Okay.
Still liked the game, but I didn't want to put up with all the unpleasant.
Oh yeah, there's some unpleasant, and the weather.
Yeah.
It's going to get cold later in the season.
Yeah.
And maybe one day they will decide to put a dome here. I think they might pick up more people that kind of, have given up their season tickets because of the weather.
Right.
You can't take the cold weather. And it gets cold out there.
Oh yes, it does.
Hopefully one day they will look to build a stadium that has a collapsible roof that when the weather's good, you open it up. When it's bad, you close it up. Mm-hmm. That's what they should. I think they should do. I don't think there's any advantage to playing in absolute frigid weather.
Right. And I can imagine the players feel the same way.
You know what
right?
I'm saying? It's just not there. Not to me.
Okay. Well, we get into some music.
Well, you know, I love Stanley Clark.
You do?
Oh, I am a Stanley Clark fanatic.
Yes, you are.
And I've picked out some more of my favorite Stanley Clark songs. "Life's Sweet" is just a classic, and the string rhythms of this song, I enjoy it tremendously. It's from the Vulcan Princess CD or album back then, but to me it's a Stanley Clark at his best.
We'll do it. You just listen to Stanley Clark doing one entitled "Life's Sweet," selected by our jazz favorite guest of this evening. They call him the Mighty OB'a. His name is Pat Freeman. Yes, indeed. You prefer Pat or Patrick?
Doesn't make a difference. Whatever
difference.
You decide to call me is fine.
Yeah, okay, all right. You do double duty out here at WUFO, or?
Well, this is one of my many occupations. I'm also a university police officer at Buffalo State. Okay. And I've been doing that over 20 years. And I've been with UFO for 15 years now as their sports director. So yeah, I'm doing double duty.
But you seem to enjoy it. So.
Oh, I love it. It's a pleasure. Yeah. I wish, somewhere in the back of your mind you can see yourself on the CNNs or ESPNs if you ever get a break. One day maybe it'll happen, or maybe you're nationally syndicated. You never know. You can never give up on your dreams, and you always got to keep striving until that day comes. If it doesn't come, at least you gave your best. There's nothing wrong with striving for the stars or reaching for the stars. The problem is if you're not willing to try to reach for them. And I think a lot of our young people need to be reminded of that. You must have big dreams, and you must strive to do your very best each and every day. And that's something you have to do. And one day, hopefully, my big break will come. If it doesn't, at least I know I gave my very best to try to obtain that opportunity.
All right. How about some more music, if you will?
Oh, yeah, some more Stanley Clark. We're going to hear some Hot Fun and a little Silly Putty. Those are two of my favorites.
All right, we'll do them. You just listen to Stanley. Take two. You just listen to Stanley Clark once again, doing two. The first one titled Hot Fun, the second one Silly Putty. That was selected by our jazz favorites guest of this evening here at WBFO, Pat Freeman, also known as the Mighty OB'a.
Yes, indeed.
Before, yeah. How did the OB'a originate?
Dr. Simpkins gave me that name. And you remember Dr. Simpkins was a medical professor at the University of Buffalo, and he wrote a comprehensive biography on, it wasn't John Coltrane, was it?
It may have been.
May
I
have
think
been
it was
John
because he used to come up to
Coltrane.
Color Musicians Club when I
Right.
was president. Just
Right.
about every Sunday
Right.
for about a year and a half.
And it was Dr. Simpkins that
Yeah.
gave me that name.
Okay.
Dr. Simpkins, I was calling myself the king of sports for about a week.
Oh, okay.
And he said, you're more than a king.
Mhm.
You're the OB'a. And ever since then, I've been the Mighty OB'a.
Mhm.
And as you well know, it's a term that means the wise one. So I'm the wise one of sports
All right.
for the village of Buffalo,
I'll
in
accept
Western
that.
New York,
Yeah.
and around the country.
Mhm.
And since then, the name is stuck, and that's the name that I use. And I host the #1 sports show in the nation, bar none.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Congratulations. All right. How long has this been happening?
Well, for the last 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, for the
All
last
right.
4 years.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Dr. Simpkins, any idea where he is now?
I believe he's in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
I haven't talked to him since he left,
Mhm.
but Dr. Simpkins, I believe he's in New Jersey. And he's a multifaceted genius.
Mm.
You know, this is a man that did a biography on John Coltrane.